Hey there, Wheels Whips fam. Glad you could join us for another video about another automotive icon and legend, Mr. Carroll Shelby. Let's drop the clutch on this one. When one thinks of the golden age of American muscle cars in the 1960s, a few legendary names spring to mind. And chief among them is Carroll Shelby. A larger-than-life Texan who made his mark as a racing driver in the 1950s, Shelby went on to become one of the most influential figures in automotive history through his groundbreaking work in designing and modifying high-performance vehicles. His most famous creations, the Shelby Cobra and Shelby Mustang, took American muscle to new heights and solidified his status as an icon. But Shelby was much more than just a car designer. He was a visionary entrepreneur who built a performance car empire, a fierce competitor driven to win at all costs, and a charismatic personality who commanded respect in any room. To understand Carroll Shelby's immense impact, we must examine the many facets of his incredible life and career. In this comprehensive essay, we'll explore his early days as a chicken farmer turned racing driver, his transition into building the Cobra and other legendary machines, his tumultuous partnership with Ford and development of the Shelby Mustang, his later ventures with Dodge and Oldsmobile, and his enduring legacy on car culture. Strap in and get ready to take a high-octane ride through the story of a true American original. Carroll Shelby was born on January 11, 1923, in the small town of Leesburg, Texas. From a young age, he exhibited a fascination with all things mechanical, especially automobiles. Shelby's early need for speed emerged when he started driving his dad's Ford Model T around the family farm as a teenager. However, his path into motorsports was an unlikely one. As a young man, Shelby's first venture was as a chicken farmer. He served as a flight instructor during World War II but never saw combat. Upon returning home, he decided to try his hand at the poultry business. While successful, chicken farming ultimately didn't provide the thrill that Shelby craved. In 1952, at the relatively advanced age of 29, he made the bold decision to pursue auto racing. Shelby wasted no time making his mark on the track. He quickly gained a reputation as a fearless and highly skilled driver, winning races across many different series and car classes. Some of his most notable victories came in endurance road racing, including wins at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, 12 Hours of Sebring, and 1,000 kilometers Buenos Aires. Shelby even dabbled in open-wheel racing, competing in 8 Formula One races in 1958 and 1959. However, Shelby's driving career was cut short in 1960 due to health issues. He had been diagnosed with a serious heart condition called angina pectoralis, which caused severe chest pains. Doctors advised him to retire from racing. While devastating news at the time, this ultimately set the stage for the next and most impactful chapter of Shelby's career. Unable to race anymore, he turned his attention to building and modifying the types of cars he wanted to drive. The Shelby legacy was about to kick into high gear. In 1961, Shelby got word that AC Cars in England would soon be losing the engine supplier for its AC Ace two-seat roadster. Sensing an opportunity, Shelby contacted the company and proposed a game-changing idea, installing a powerful Ford V8 into the lightweight British sports car to create a street-legal race car. AC agreed to send Shelby a chassis. After securing a deal with Ford to supply their new thin-wall small-block 260 V8 engine, the first Cobra was born in early 1962 in Shelby's small Southern California shop. It was dubbed the CSX 2000. The Cobra's combination of a lightweight body, stiff chassis, and brute American V8 power made it an instant sensation in the performance car world. With 260 horsepower on tap, it could rocket from 0 to 60 miles per hour in around 4 seconds, an astonishing feat for the time. Shelby described the experience of driving it as similar to holding an angry tiger by the tail. The Cobra quickly began dominating on the racetrack too, trouncing Corvettes, Ferraris, Aston Martins, and Jaguars and cementing Shelby's reputation as an automotive mastermind. Over the next several years, the Cobra evolved rapidly as Shelby chased more power and refinement. The original 260 engine was replaced by a 289 V8, boosting output to 271 horsepower in street trim and up to 385 horsepower in competition form. In 1965, Shelby unleashed the most extreme Cobra yet, the 427. Packing a monstrous 425 horsepower Ford 427 big block V8 into an only slightly bigger chassis, the 427 Cobra could hit 60 miles per hour in just over 4 seconds and had a claimed top speed of 165 miles per hour, making it the fastest street-legal production car in the world at the time. It would be dubbed the Cobra to end all Cobras. While the original Cobra ceased production in 1967, its impact and mystique have only grown in the decades since. The swooping muscular lines, the unmistakable sound of a big V8 rumbling through side pipes, and the sheer thrill of driving one made the Cobra an instant legend. It was the first car to truly blend European sports car sensibilities with American horsepower and attitude. Today, original Cobras are some of the most valuable and sought-after collector cars in the world, routinely selling for millions of dollars at auction. Shelby's little British hot rod had become an enduring icon of the automotive world. As successful as the Cobra was, Carroll Shelby's most widespread impact arguably came through his partnership with Ford. In 1965, Ford hired Shelby to develop a high-performance version of their new Mustang to compete against the Corvette in SCCA road racing. The result was the legendary Shelby GT350, a hopped-up pony car that took the Mustang to a whole new level of performance. The 1965 GT350 was powered by a modified version of Ford's K-Code 289 V8, pumping out 306 horsepower. But Shelby didn't just drop in a bigger engine. The entire car was comprehensively re-engineered, with upgrades like a stiffer suspension, shorter rear-end gears, improved brakes, fiberglass hood, and signature side stripes. In race trim, the competition GT350R was a formidable track weapon, winning the SCCA B Production Championship 3 years in a row from 1965 to 67. For 1967, Shelby introduced an even more potent version dubbed the GT500. Using the new 428 Police Interceptor V8, the GT500 packed 355 horsepower and could run mid-14-second quarter-mile times, making it one of the quickest accelerating cars of its day. It also featured a distinctive elongated nose and scoops to fit the big block engine. A handful of 1967 GT500S were further upgraded to Super Snake spec with a race-prepped 427 V8, putting out over 600 horsepower. Shelby's Mustangs grew more luxurious and grand touring-focused in 1968 with the introduction of a convertible model and the opulent GT500KR King of the Road. However, tightening emissions standards, high insurance premiums, and Ford's desire to bring Mustang development back in-house ultimately led to the end of the Shelby partnership after 1969. But during their brief time together, Shelby and Ford had created some of the most iconic and desirable muscle cars ever made, cementing the Mustang's place in performance car history. Shelby also worked with Ford on several other high-profile projects in the 1960s. He helped develop the legendary Ford GT40 race car that beat Ferrari at Le Mans. However, the Shelby Mustangs remain his most famous and influential collaboration with the Blue Oval. After parting ways with Ford, Shelby's focus shifted in the 1970s and 80s. He started a wheel company and also began doing performance conversions for other automakers. In 1987, Shelby partnered with Oldsmobile to create the Shelby GLHS. Goes like hell s'more. Based on the Oldsmobile Calais, it featured a 2.2L turbo engine with intercooling and other tweaks to boost output to 190 horsepower. Shelby also had a hand in the development of the quirky Dodge Viper RT-10 Roadster in the early 1990s. Carroll Shelby is without a doubt one of the most influential figures in muscle car history, and his contributions will be valued and appreciated for many, many years to come.